mystical theme of the space age is this: the world as we know it is coming to an end. The world as the center of the universe. The world divided from the heavens. The world bound by horizons in which love is reserved for members of the in-group. That is the world that is passing away. Our divided, schizophrenic worldview, with no mythology adequate to coordinate our conscious and unconscious, that is what is coming to an end. The space age demands that we change our ideas about ourselves, but we want to hold on to them. There are no horizons in space, and there can be no horizons on our own experience. The space age challenges everything that makes us Earth-centered or group-centered.
I think I get it. I am being invited to move beyond a people-centered and earth-centered relationship that has defined most of my life. I am being invited to a mystery-centered existence. Wow, I sense this may be radical.
This divided model allowed us to think that there was a spiritual order, separate or divided from our own experience. With the moonwalk, the religious myth that sustained these notions could no longer be held. With our view of Earthrise, we could see that our view of the earth and the heavens were no longer divided, but that the earth is in the heavens. There is no division. And all the theological notions based on the distinction between the heavens and the earth collapse with that realization. There is a unity in the universe and a unity in our own experience. We can no longer look for a spiritual order outside of our own experience.
I don't really like too much change, and neither do my friends. In 1543, Copernicus published his book, Revolutions of the Celestial Orbs, removing the Earth as the center of the universe. This was also the year he wisely died. The official human institutions representing ultimate reality burned his work for the following 100 years. Nearly 500 years after Copernicus died, we have stopped burning his book, but for the most part, we have not accepted our role in space and, in our interior lives, continue to practice a pre-Copernicus worldview that is thousands of years old, embracing a multi-storied cosmos full of magic, angels, devils, goblins, ghosts, gods, goddesses, spirits, special energies, and substances in a so-called spiritual realm, separate from the secular scientific realm we encounter through our critical intelligence. In this previous worldview, separation and duality provided the interior operating system. This worldview of separation still frequently guides our lives today.
The space age reminds us that deliverance must come from within ourselves. The voyages into outer space turn us back to inner space. The journey to this new life, and it is a journey we must all make, cannot be made unless we let go of the past. The reality of living in space means that we are born anew, not born again to an old-time religion, but to a new order of things. We must move socially into a new system of symbols because the old ones do not work. There are no horizons. That is the meaning of the space age. We are in a free fall into a future that is mysterious.
Because I thought about what an image might be that would be appropriate for our moment and our time in history. And there's a picture I have on the wall in my office just to remind me about who I am and particularly how I fit in the universe. And when my concerns and emotional issues and challenges become a little too much, then I look over at this picture and it helps me to regain my sense of orientation. On Valentine's Day, 1990, Carl Sagan asked the NASA engineers, this is right before Voyager 1 left our system, and Carl Sagan asked the NASA engineers if they would please turn Voyager 1 around for one last picture of home. One last picture of home. And 4 billion miles away, there it is.
From this distant vantage point, the Earth might not seem of any particular interest. But for us, it's different. Consider again that dot. That's here. That's home. That's us. On it, everyone you love, everyone you know, everyone you ever heard of, every human being who ever was, lived out their lives. The aggregate of our joy and suffering, thousands of confident religions, ideologies, and economic doctrines, every hunter and forager, every hero and coward, every creator and destroyer of civilization, every king and peasant, every young couple in love, every mother and father, hopeful child, inventor and explorer, every teacher of morals, every corrupt politician, every superstar, every supreme leader, every saint and sinner in the history of our species lived there, on the mote of dust, suspended in a sunbeam. The Earth is a very small stage in a vast cosmic arena. Think of the rivers of blood spilled by all those generals and emperors, so that in glory and triumph they could become the momentary masters of a fraction of a dot. Think of the endless cruelties visited by the inhabitants of one corner of this pixel on the scarcely distinguishable inhabitants of some other corner. How frequent their misunderstandings, how eager they are to kill one another, how fervent their hatreds. Our posturings, our imagined self-importance, the delusion that we have some privileged position in the universe, are challenged by this point of pale light. Our planet is a lonely speck in the great enveloping cosmic dark. In our obscurity, in all this vastness, there is no hint that help will come from elsewhere to save us from ourselves. The Earth is the only world known so far to harbor life. There is nowhere else, at least in the near future, to which our species could migrate. Visit? Yes. Settle? Not yet. Like it or not, for the moment, the Earth is where we make our stand. It has been said that astronomy is a humbling and character-building experience. there is perhaps no better demonstration of the folly of human conceits than this distant image of our tiny world. To me, it underscores our responsibility to deal more kindly with one another and to preserve and cherish the pale blue dot, the only home we've ever known.
It is up to us. There is nothing else coming. It's time to grow up. It's time to grow up as a species, and the problem with that is that you can't grow a species up except one solitary being at a time. And here we are. And part of the perspective that shares with us is an awareness of the infinite mysteriousness of being that is not somewhere out there, but it's right here. It's near. It's present. It's clear. It's in you. And it's in me. And there's no magic, no woo-woo, no make-believe. There is nothing more mysterious than reality. There is nothing else coming. There is nothing else coming. And when I grasp that truth, finally, then I also have an opportunity to grasp the freedom that I am. The creativity that is waiting to express itself right now, right here. I don't have to wait to live my life because there is nothing else coming. And when I embrace that truth, I also can embrace the perfection of creation, just as it is. There is nothing else coming. There's nothing else coming.
Let me catch my breath. This is it. No horizons. The world as I have known it is coming to an end. I am in a free fall into a mysterious future. The old symbols no longer work, and I am being called to a new order of things. I'm not certain how to feel about all of this, but I've come this far, and at some deep level, I sense there is no escape from this reality. So, here I go. Share a journey with me to explore the face of ultimate reality as it is revealing anew in our time. Come along.